everybody, welcome back. This is the 8th episode of House Take on Sports. This week we're going to cover a coaching legend calling it quits, the age-defying pitcher that is Jamie Moyer, the Houston Mount Rushmore of Sports, the Saints general manager possibly getting the team into more trouble, and lastly the mascot of the week, the newest thing here on House Take on Sports. Let's start off by talking about Pat Summitt, the Tennessee Lady Volunteers basketball coach who has made this team and this program into a national power over the last 38 years. She had to retire last week because she was diagnosed last season with an early onset case of dementia. To say what this woman did for the program, you couldn't say enough. Back when she was 22 years old, she took over the Tennessee Lady Volunteers program in 1974 with no coaching experience and barely older than the players she was coaching. She got the job as an assistant. The coach who was supposed to be the head coach didn't show up one day. She basically became the coach. They asked her to stay on. She did. 38 years later, 8 national championships later, and the all-time winningest college basketball coach with 1,098 victories. Pat Summitt started out, like I said, 22 years old, making $250 a month and having to wash the players' uniforms. She is a strong woman, a great basketball coach, and she's going to be an unbelievable ambassador for the Tennessee Women's Volunteer Basketball Program as long as she's there and she stays of her right mind right now. It's kind of sad to see or to hear what she could possibly be going through here in the future. I salute her, and I hope you will do the same. Next, Jamie Moyer. The left-hander wasn't sure if he was going to get called up to a roster spot this season. A few teams had options of giving him a minor league free agent contract and try out at spring training, hoping he can make the Major League Baseball team. Any of them. Back in 1986, he started pitching. 268 wins later, here he is. Became the oldest pitcher in Major League Baseball last week to win a baseball game at the age of 49. And he is now one of 29 players to appear in a Major League Baseball game in 4 decades. That's quite impressive, regardless of what position or where you're playing at. Next, we'll talk about the Houston Mount Rushmore of Sports. This has been the biggest, I think it's going to be the biggest feedback overall is Mount Rushmore of Sports. Everybody has an opinion on who belongs where, who should be there and who shouldn't be there, and I appreciate it. This week on the Houston Mount Rushmore of Sports, first up, Earl Campbell. I think it goes without saying, the Hall of Famer. This guy was as bruising a running back as you're going to find and as fast for the type of running back he was. His first 3 years in the league, he led the league in rushing. He had 74 touchdowns in 10 seasons. The guy was phenomenal. Next, Craig Biggio. Longtime player of the Houston Astros. And if for no other reason, a 7-time All-Star, 3,060 hits, which is 21st all-time. He was a 4-time Gold Glover who came up as a catcher, moved to second base, moved to the outfield, and then ultimately moved back to second base. That's pretty impressive. And he was a very good baseball player all while doing it. Led the league 1 year in steals. That's pretty impressive for a catcher or a second baseman for that matter. Next, Hakeem Olajuwon. Original Dream Teamer, Hall of Famer, and one of the best basketball players in NBA history. A 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and ultimately an MVP as well. Hakeem the Dream, great basketball player, great ambassador for the city of Houston. The last person on the Houston Mount Rushmore of Sports was probably the hardest one to kind of put together, and it was Rudy Tomjanovich. And a lot of people may not even know who that is. The most famous, the thing you'll know Rudy Tomjanovich the most for is getting punched in the face during a melee on a basketball court as he ran up to break up a fight. Another player turned around and just punched at him and actually broke his orbital socket. So this guy went through it all, you know. He was a player for the Houston Rockets for 11 years. He's a 5-time All-Star. He came back to coach the Houston Rockets for 11 years, as a matter of fact, and won 90 playoff games, and more importantly, 2 NBA titles. So, Rudy T, congratulations for getting that last spot on the Houston Mount Rushmore of Sports, which, by the way, it seemed like the easiest, but it seemed like the hardest at the same time. So that was fun. The last thing I want to talk about is the Saints general manager, Mickey Loomis. Everybody knows what's going on with the Saints right now, the Bounty Gate scandal. It was recently reported on ESPN that Mickey Loomis might have possibly been recording opposing coaches' conversations in their locker room during halftime between 2002 and 2004. If this is the case, I hate to say it, his 8-game suspension is going to probably go into a lifetime ban, if not at least 2 years from football. Roger Goodell is not going to stand for this, and this guy is going to go down hard. And guess what? He's taking the Saints with him. The Saints before Hurricane Katrina, and I hate bringing this as an example, were basically a doormat, and nobody cared about the Saints. After Hurricane Katrina, feel-good story, Sean Payton comes along, Drew Brees, Reggie Bush to a certain extent. Guess what? Started electrifying the city. Everybody loves the Saints. This Bounty Gate kind of set some sour taste on people's mouths, and now with this, if it's found to be true, it is going to rub some people the wrong way, lots and lots of people, and it's not good for the game of football. And man, if it's true, I hope you get what you deserve. Lastly, let's go ahead and talk about the mascot of the week, which everybody seemed to be really excited about last week, but I was honestly, a couple people wanted to see an animal. So this week, you get Teddy, the Mobile Bay Bears of the Southern Baseball League's mascot. Teddy, the Bay Bear. So there you have it. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.